Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new Ultra Beast BUZZWOLE in the Ultra League. During Seattle Go Fest, I was able to trade for a second BUZZWOLE, meaning that I can try it out in the Ultra League while still keeping my other one Great League eligible. BUZZWOLE is a bug and fighting type Pokemon with the moveset of Counter, Lunge, and Superpower, and for the team, I paired it up with a Shadow Snorlax on the safe switch and a Lapras as the closer. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out BUZZWOLE in action in the Ultra League. Hopping into the first match, hitting BUZZWOLE into Swampert. This is a positive lead as BUZZWOLE is able to win all shielding scenarios. Swampert is going to be able to outpace me, and in case they want to shield in this matchup, I am going to shield myself, just because after I'm able to land the lunge, future Hydro Cannons are of course going to be doing less. BUZZWOLE fires off the lunge, that does nice damage onto the Swampert, and from here, I'm just going to try and commit to the farm down. They're going to go for the Hydro Cannon, I'm going to be able to tank that no problem, but then I realized they're probably going to be able to reach a move, so I switch in the Shadow Snorlax, not quite able to snipe with the licks, and they fire off one final debuffed Hydro Cannon. My opponent brings in a Shadow Wall Rain, and honestly, I am perfectly fine with seeing this here. Shadow Icicle Spear is not enough to KO whatsoever, and I am going to be able to farm up and go for the Superpower just before they're able to reach that second Icicle Spear. Superpower, big damage onto the Wall Rain. Wall Rain goes for the farm down, but Shadow Snorlax too strong, able to hang on, fire off the Body Slam, and take down the Wall Rain. And in the back, the opponent has Talonflame. So this is a little rough because BUZZWOLE does not want to see Talonflame whatsoever. I'm going to let the first move through. They go straight for the Flame Charge. Typically, this is a very nice matchup for Lapras, but with Talonflame having a shield advantage, things could get a little uncomfortable. I'm going to fire off the Surf. They are, of course, going to be shielding everything, and they're going to be firing off yet another Flame Charge, continuing to ramp up their attacks more and more and more. I'm going to farm up. They go for the catch on a Swampert, and I'm able to farm them down. After this Incinerate, they're going to be at the move. So I'm going to throw the Surf, switch into BUZZWOLE, and we're able to catch onto BUZZWOLE. Let's go. They go for the Flame Charge, and they undercharge it. They're looking for the farm down. I am not going to let that happen. I'm going to fire off the double resisted lunge to lower the amount of Incinerate damage. And on very low HP, we're able to reach the Superpower. Superpower taking down the Talonflame. And that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading BUZZWOLE into Shadow Wall Rain, a very nice lead. And even better, the opponent is staying in. They farm up, they go for a snipe with a Gust, but I'm able to switch fast enough, denying that massive damage onto my BUZZWOLE, and I'm able to bring in Lapras. Surf is going to do a solid chunk of damage here. Unfortunately, I can't threaten with an Ice Beam, and this is enough for a Brave Bird. I am going to respect it, but unfortunately, it is only a Feather Dance, and I'm just going to fire off this Surf as soon as I get it. This will be taking down the Pidgeot, and I leave debuffed, but I leave quite healthy. This is quite nice because a Shadow Earthquake is not going to be enough to take me out here. So they're going to be going straight for the Earthquake. I'm down a shield, no point in baiting. I'm able to tank it, and I reach the last second Skull Bash. I'm debuffed, this is not going to be enough to KO, but we'll do a solid chunk of damage. They commit the shield. In the back is Talonflame, and I immediately bring in Shadow Snorlax. Shadow Snorlax is going to be firing off the Body Slam. This is not enough to KO, but it will do a solid chunk of damage onto that Talonflame. I'm going to call just the Flame Charge, and that is a very, very big call. They are at a second Flame Charge, and I have to start shielding everything here. This is going to be very tough. I'm just going to farm up and then fire off another Body Slam. This is going to be close. Are they going to be able to farm me down here? They let it go. They're putting all their faith into the Shadow Wall Rain. I'm able to reach the last second Body Slam, and this will be doing a solid chunk of damage onto the Wall Rain. Opponent holding on to that last shield, but it is not going to save them. And in comes BUZZWOLE. Wall Rain will be able to reach back-to-back Shadow Icicle Spears, but BUZZWOLE does not care. Shrugs off the damage from the first, shrugs off the damage from the second, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading BUZZWOLE into Talonflame, an absolutely disastrous lead. I'm going to need to immediately save switch into the Shadow Snorlax, and the opponent is actually staying in with the Talonflame. I'm going to farm up and fire off the Body Slam just before they're able to reach a move. Body Slam does grab a shield from Talonflame, and this is a tough call to make. Flame Charge or Brave Bird. I let it go, and it's only a Flame Charge. That is a big call. They're going to be able to reach a second Flame Charge, and I end up losing the CMP tie. I'm going to shield because this second body slam is going to do a nice amount of damage onto the Talonflame and really make them decide if they want to give up that final shield. And they do. Opponent full committing to the Talonflame. They farm up and they bring in Cresselia. Things honestly not looking great for me here, as they have two Pokemon very strong against BUZZWOLE. So I'm just going to bring in the BUZZWOLE to see what it can do against the Cresselia. I'm going to let this through. Moonblast would do massive damage, but I'm able to hang on and fire off the Lunge. And Lunge is going to do some nice super effective damage in return. They shouldn't be able to farm me down here, so at the very least they will be forced to throw. I believe this is only a Grass Knot, but it is going to be enough to take me out. So they do go for the Grass Knot. I'm going to wait my clock, and I have Lapras with a shield advantage versus the world. In comes Lapras, in the back is Registeel, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, sending BUZZWOLE into the mirror match. You absolutely love to see it. I'm double weak to counter in the back, so this is absolutely where I need to see it. I'm just going to stay in and spam out lunge after lunge. My opponent goes for the extra, which works out quite nicely for me, because that way I get to debuff them first. They're going to fire off a move. I don't have to shield a thing here. They actually go straight for the superpower. Superpower does extra damage, but they lower their attack and defense to do so, meaning that a second superpower is not going to be enough to KO, and if they let this through, I am going to be able to take Switch. Lunge number 2 goes unshielded, and I take Switch. In the back is Registeel, and this is problematic. I'm going to farm up, I'm pretty low, and I'm going to fire off the superpower. I'm hoping that they think I'm going for the Lunge, but they do end up shielding it. And I fall just short of a second one, so maybe I should have farmed up more before I threw that superpower. They go straight for the Focus Blast. That does big damage onto the Snorlax. In the back is Walrein, and I'm going to respond with my Lapras. Lapras does get outpaced in this matchup, but thankfully I do have access to Skull Bash, and Skull Bash is going to be able to buff up my defense and do a nice amount of damage in return. So I'm going to farm up and go straight for the Skull Bash. My plan is to not really shield anything on the Lapras, because I should be able to tank 2 Earthquakes and reach a second Skull Bash, and either they give me their final shield, or I'm able to take down their Walrein. They do land that second Earthquake, and I reach the Skull Bash. They have a tough call to make. Do they expend the final shield? And they do. I'm double buffed. An Icicle Spear will not KO here. I'm going to let it go. They do go for the Earthquake, and my Lapras gets taken out. I'm just going to farm as much energy as I can with the Snorlax here. I do have to watch for a catch. I'm farming up. They bring in the Registeel, and I'm in a great position now. I'm going to shield up the move, overfarm as much as I can to make sure that I have 2 superpowers, and this game should be over. I do overfarm to get any and all extra lick damage, and I'm going straight for the first superpower. That will be taking down the Registeel, and we have the second one available for the Walrein, and that will be game over. The opponent does end up closing their app, so it takes a minute for the superpower to land, but that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading BUZZWOLE into Shadow Snorlax, a very nice lead. They're staying in, so I will too. They farm up, save switch into Defense Deoxys, and I don't have a great response for this. So I'm going to go for the lunge to get that attack drop, and then I feel a lot more comfortable about bringing in the Shadow Snorlax. We are both hitting each other for super effective damage here, but with that reduced counter damage, Snorlax should hopefully be able to keep switch advantage. These licks are really starting to add up, and I'm going to start firing off body slams as well. First body slam, able to land. A second one is not going to be enough to KO, but it will get it into a range where I should be able to lick down. I fire off the second. Defense Deoxys does have quite a lot of energy here, but I live any one move. They go for the Psycho Boost. I tank that. In comes their own Snorlax, and they're able to fire off a move. Unfortunately, my switch clock was not quite up yet. They're able to take me out, but now I can bring in BUZZWOLE. BUZZWOLE, I'm going to be going straight for the superpower, hoping they decide to let it go because this will KO, and they do. Down goes Snorlax. In the back is Mandibuzz. I bring in Lapras, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, going up against one of my moderators, Ike the Bot. Picking up a terrible lead BUZZWOLE into Giratina. I save switch into Shadow Snorlax, and I am met with an Escavalier. Things looking about as bad as they possibly can. I go straight for the superpower. Superpower, able to connect, and suddenly, I see there might be a win con. I'm going to try double shielding and try to farm down the Escav. I am debuffed, so this is very risky. Can Snorlax tank 2 counters from here? This is going to be close. We shield up the Drill Run. Snorlax, able to farm down, and we leave on 1 HP. he is going to be able to snipe me with the Dragon Breath from Giratina, so I'm not able to throw a move. But now I can align it onto Lapras, and in the back, he is running some extreme spice in Cobalion. He does have 2 shields, so I'm going straight for the Lunge bait. Lunge goes unshielded, but does get that guaranteed attack drop. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of lag there, and Cobalion is going to be firing off a move. They go for the Stone Edge. That only hits for neutral, and I'm able to farm down. Back in comes the Giratina, but now it's time for BUZZWOLE's revenge. BUZZWOLE has a terrible matchup against Giratina, but if they try and farm down, which they do, I should be able to reach a second Lunge. So now they are double debuffed. I can bring in the Lapras, and then I can raise my defense by going for the Skull Bash. Giratina fires off a move, but unfortunately, after being double debuffed, that's just not going to be doing nearly enough damage, and I'm going to raise my defense to make that damage amount even less. Skull Bash, able to land, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, letting BUZZWOLE into another Swampert. We've seen this lead play out before, and it's a very nice one for BUZZWOLE, so I'm perfectly fine with staying in here. They're going to go straight for the Hydro Cannon. That's no problem. I am going to shield up the first, just so I can guarantee switch advantage, and then I'm going to be firing off the Lunge. Lunge is just an incredibly helpful move on BUZZWOLE, because I just get to lower opponents' attack more and more and more. They bank energy, and they bring in Trevenant. I'm going to go for the Lunge, and then I'm going to try and catch a Shadow Ball onto my Snorlax. Lunge, able to land. I switch, and I'm not able to catch the Shadow Ball. That is very unfortunate. They're going to be able to reach a lot of Seed Bombs here, but since they're debuffed, I should be able to comfortably tank the damage, farm all the way down, and leave with a nice amount of energy. They're going to be firing off the back-to-back Seed Bombs. Seed Bomb number 1 lands. They reach Seed Bomb number 2, but I'm going to be able to comfortably tank this, take out the Trevenant, and leave with a lot of energy remaining. Swampert does have energy, and they're going to fire off a move. I'm going to shield up, expending the last shield, because I want to be able to debuff whatever they have in the back, and it's a Wall Rain. I'm going straight for the Superpower. No baits here. Superpower, able to connect, opponent not using their shields, and it is going to cost them as I immediately switch into BUZZWOLE. They go for the Icicle Spear. I tank it, and I'm going to fire off the Lunge. Let's get those debuffs rolling. Lunge takes down the Wall Rain. In comes Swampert. We farm down, and that is a good game. And now some final thoughts on BUZZWOLE in the Ultra League. First off, as in the Great League, that counter and Lunge combination is incredibly deadly, allowing BUZZWOLE to pick up a lot of 2-shield wins. One caution area, however, is the fact that there's a lot of meta Pokemon that BUZZWOLE does not have a lot of play against in the Ultra League, like Talonflame, Giratina, even Trevenant in even shielding situations. BUZZWOLE can make it close, but Trevenant is still able to win. So if you do end up investing in one, you're definitely going to want to make sure that your team covers those weaknesses, because without it, BUZZWOLE could definitely struggle. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.